right. Going live, part two. Matt King. Some notifications to Facebook and Instagram. Instagram. Whatever. All right. They've been notified. All right. And of course, Matt's coming back. Matt King, the writer, creator. Can't be any more serious than expressing just the amazing work of James Edward Clark. I mean, just volume one of Tales to Enlighten is monumental. Very monumental. Very inspirational. I love this. Oh gosh. The ads in here, that's a whole nother, like, why this reads like a Bible. I mean, you get a story, it's broken down into chapters, you get these ads, which really just fit nicely into the story, the context that this is all in. Oh, look at this. Oh, that's great. And then, yep, and then we get into, and this is like, I think probably like the real indie Bible part is just all of these people in here that provided, a pinup, and then they're listed in this index. So it's like a phone book for indie artists. And then you get a nice quick, like, geez, come on. Like, this is the first one. This is Phil Bratuhin, Russian. Nice, though. I mean, come on. Totally doing the Jeff Darrow thing. We gotta love it. I mean, it's just great. Having people interpret your character. I mean, it's just too good. So until Matt gets on here, we're going to just flip through some of these extraordinary indie creators. Of course, you can get copies of Tales to Enlighten 1 and or 2 on powerpulpcomics.com. Yeah, I like this inking. Number 19. Let's see who this is. Number 19. 19. Carlos Llanos, Argentina. Nice. I think he actually has a story in number 2. I did the illustration story number 2. I really like this. Von Baudet vibe. Love the colors. Love the markers. I've been playing a lot with markers and stuff. Great stuff. Look at that. Come on. Come on. It's almost 1,000 pages between these two books. Like, it's better than sitting down and watching any television. Ooh, I like that. I always like the color line getting, turned to a color. I mean, that's what really is the turn on about James Edward Clark's work, is he does that. You'll notice grandson of Satan. He's outlined in this like magenta So. Let's see who else is in here. Oh, there's another really nice black and white ink. It's great. Great stuff. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. Ken Landgraf. Outlaw master himself. I'm going to be reaching out to him real soon, either today or tomorrow or so. Get on the books for the part 2 of the CROM and Dravanis strip I have in CROM Anthology. I will be appearing in CROM Anthology 2 in the middle of this year, probably like June of this year it'll be released. Right now we're in sketching and rough draft phases. It'll go all the way till the end of this month, February. So I'm a little more than halfway through my sketching. Of course, I keep coming up with ideas, and so I gotta pull back on the ideas or prioritize the ideas. Oh, let's see, Mr. Yeah, I'm trying. Wait a minute. Technology. That's what it's about, babies. Jake and I on our Turbo podcast, we were talking about Powerpuff Girls and how much I love them for their sense of design. So, wow, look at that. Wow, look at that. Is that who I think it is? 55. That's my page there. 55. Renzo Rosato. Oh, there's Mr. King. Let me grab him. Let him in. Come on in. Come on in, Mr. King.
Hey, man, I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all. You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
It literally took me like 5 minutes to I don't know. Every time you sent me the link in Instagram, so I open it up. It wants to open it up in Instagram. I'm like, no, go to the app. And then
yeah.
Then it's like, well, paste the link. So I go back to Instagram to copy it, but it copies the whole thing, not just the link. And then, I'm like,
Nothing. It's not getting any easier. So
not for me. Jeez.
I don't think for anybody. This whole technology. But I was just going through the just the number one Tales to Enlighten and like the phone book catalog for finding if you need or want to work with somebody. But man, I mean, just this alone, I was saying, is worth the price of admission.
Thank you. Keep saying it. I love it.
Good. It's a great resource. No, I mean, like I really, I keep pushing you on the marketing thing for Tales and Light, and you've been doing a little bit of my suggestions, and you're always throwing up panels from other people's comics. It's like I want to see more and more panels from the Tales to Enlighten stuff.
But I've been doing it. I've been doing one a day. I've been doing one a day for months and months now. Yeah. But my main account just got they wouldn't let me post anything for the last 3 or 4 days. It just kept saying I was violating community standards or something.
What?
I don't know, but it would let me post on the Power Pulp one, and it allowed me to post in the stories, but it wouldn't let me put up any post. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Weird.
It just happened. It fixed itself, I guess. So.
Right.
So good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, and welcome to part 2 of the reviewing of CROM Anthology number 1. Let me see where we leave off. I think we left off at God CROM.
Yeah, I think we left off right after the Clarn, right? CROM of Clarn or whatever.
Yep, CROM of Clarn.
Right, which we kind of covered earlier, but yeah.
The southern part of CROM's world.
Mm-hmm.
But Dexter Jones, he was pretty much right out of the gate first person to like contact me on that whole like opening submissions and me trying to figure that out. And my response was totally like, yeah, sure, dude, and he's like sending me emails like, I'm thinking like this, and I'm I have this idea. I'm like, all right, dude, and I'm just sitting waiting, and he just starts sending pages. But he has, oh man, I don't think I have him up. I might have him up here. But the interviews I have with him here on the channel, the CROM YouTube channel, is he does this all pretty much like in a Sharpie marker, ink pen kind of thing. But you can see he has these screens he buys, and total like compliment to Landgraf where he spray paints on the screen to get this
come on. Really?
So I found some screens on Amazon and I bought them, and I haven't used them yet, but I'm going to definitely, out of one of my projects, I'm going to be doing this similar type of thing. Now he had one where it was like round holes. You can really see it well in there. Round holes. I just bought like basically like crisscrossed, like door screen type of like panel, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna see what happens with that.
So do you mask off the other area, or how does that happen?
So yeah, what I do is like you have the art, and then you need to airbrush or spray paint on it. So I then, to size, print it out again on a piece of paper, and then cut out all the areas where I want to spray, tape it to that paper, and then just like literally it's this, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds at the most, but it takes like 10 to 15 minutes of prep.
I was gonna say, yeah. So is it actual spray paint, like a can of spray paint, or you just like an airbrush? Like I can see an airbrush. You could be.
Used to do the airbrush thing. I used to do the airbrush thing, and it is the messiest, most frustrating thing. And if you're not a clean person, you don't keep things. Those things just goop up, and it's just a big pain in the butt. There's a whole bunch of. Somebody sent me a suggestion of getting a cake decorator spray gun set. He says he's seen people use them. Crayola has one where you can use the marker tips and it'll spray air and like and it'll make like but I'm just gonna get cans of spray paint right now. Black, white, gray, and red. And then I've been buying like bags of nozzles. So just different types of nozzles, because like graffiti and everything. I mean, you can really.
I have like 125 cans in my basement, and from the stuff I've done. But I would think if you had an airbrush, the cleaning probably takes a long time, but you probably wouldn't have to mask everything off, right? You could lay the screen down and just. Isn't it way more control? No?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I'm just basically bombing areas and just trying, you know what I mean? Like double
interesting.
Double masking and everything. But that was like my real first introduction to becoming an illustrator. Was in high school, and there was an art center called D'Antonio Art Center. And you get the flyers in the mail, or I just was down there always buying art supplies and stuff. And this guy, young guy, was like out of college, was a professional illustrator and taught a course in airbrush. And I just went to town on it. I used it, I think, all the way through probably about mid-90s. I ended up abandoning it, probably because computers, having Photoshop. So
Sure. I love on this first page of his, he's like, the guy states, man to man, no arrows, like it's a kid's game. You know what I mean? These are the rules, man.
It is so. I just, when Dexter got the pages and they were coming in, and then we were having our interview on the updates, for CROM, and he was sharing, I just kept in the back of my head going, oh, this is working already. I got this guy, and this whole like concept of mine is working, and I'm like super, super happy with this. So he is working on a next batch of pages. He has, I do believe, the entire first issue kind of like laid out, written kind of thing, where I was really hoping he would have that printed as a floppy and we could have advertised it for that, but it just didn't happen, which is totally cool. Low to no stress is with the CROM Anthology project. I say this all the time.
That story really has the power comic vibe to me, you know. That could have come right out of the 80s, black and white, power comic,
Hands down, but like this move. I mean,
oh yeah, with the foot?
Give me a break.
I love it.
I mean, come on.
I love it, yeah.
I'm just really masterfully done, and yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. It's that power comic feel, which is just, like, I got the idea, I've got the energy and momentum, and I'm just gonna make a comic, and it turns out.
Good for
no matter
him.
what happens. Love it.
You got your pin up here?
Got my thick Barbarian babes. I want to do another one or two of these. These are
1958.
You're like that. That was like I have tons. I just did kind of like a cleaning in the basement where all my stuff is and organized. And I have 4 Tupperware, the big storage bins full of, probably doesn't even go beyond like 1972 of just the classic, not the men's magazine, like Men's Adventure and what was another one? Man and Male. And like, it's so, there's always like pinups in there. Like, there's like, they always have like a girl or two that they do. And then, so you can just grab this, and I just take that kind of,
I have a box of those, but not Rubbermaid containers full of them.
Yeah. One of the things I got into, there's a digest version out there, and it was called Photo with an F or Pick, and those are I want to actually, like, I've been doing when I have like time down, and I feel like messing around for a couple hours, I'll scan them high res. And then I want to start doing something where I'll print them at 8.5 by 11, but I want to kind of work, like another layer on top of drawing and writing stuff and everything in there, and just kind of like goof off on it.
I love those old 50s, 60s kind of men's magazines. Those are great. There used to be in Hartford, Connecticut, they used to have this great show called I think it was called Paperama or something. It was the paper show, and it was all that kind of stuff. It wasn't necessarily comics, though there was some comics there. It was all print media and like postcard collectors, just any sort of ephemera, like printed ephemera. And it was like this big hall. It was at the Hartford Convention Center, but it was only a part of it. But every year, the demographic of these people that collected it, because it's like an old man sort of thing, was getting small. The room would get smaller. There'd be less vendors. It was, and then it was half size, and now they don't have it anymore. It's like either the vendors or the audience buying it. Just kind of, I was always like the youngest guy in the room. It was so fun.
Yeah, we have one up in Jersey, Bordentown, Pulp something, but it was primarily paperbacks. And I went up there and I had some old comics I wanted to move. And actually I was trying to actually like get a booth, and I kept talking to people and they looked at me like I was like crazy, but this is like 11 years ago. I bet if I went up there now and I showed them what I'm working on, they'd be like, oh yeah, dude, come on in.
Oh, cool.
So who knows? Now this was also like a grand prize. This is Steven Sonnefeld is he's the one that's done 12 free CROM scripts, and I've contributed a couple. Right now we have one that's been illustrated, a second one, two others are being illustrated.
Why don't you just take a second and tell the viewers and listeners about the scripts and how you accept scripts and all that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a total it's all based on CROM being a public domain character, which falls into the free zone. So it's free of copyright and everything. So nobody should be paranoid about anything. So, but the idea too on top of that is like personally, I'm looking to alleviate myself of the two things I'm not very good at, or I just kind of struggle too much or take too much time on it, and it leaves me for not doing the inking part, which is the writing and the penciling. And I'm not shy on saying I'm a great penciler, but I'm not a good layout design, paneling and all that kind of stuff. So, the call for entry in submission is not only just, you make a CROM short comic and submit it and it hopefully gets in. It's looking to have more of the collaboration. So wherever you're in a weakness, free yourself of it and grab one of these scripts. The guy just started working on one, and he apologized for going off course. And I was like, no, dude, that's exactly what Steven and I want. And we want you to take it and launch off of there. So yeah, he wrote 12, and 3 right now are in the works. People have downloaded many of them, but once again, you could pencil it, and then submit the pencils, and then we'll try. I have something where I'm looking for an inker for somebody, and then of course I really enjoy jumping on, penciled story written pages and stuff. So it's a bit of a mismatch, and I want there to be also any level of entry coming in. So if somebody's like, I want to make a comic, grab a script, let's go, it's kind of easy. It's just whatever you feel in the way of I guess the professional presentation, but you got the Power Pulp, Power Comics cover over, you know what I mean, where you can kind of just be like, wow, I'm just a power comic.
Right. I'm fascinated that he's submitted 12 scripts. I mean,
it was we were talking and he, I've had a couple of interviews with him, and it was based on wanting to contribute by writing scripts, and I was like, well, just do a bunch, bunch. And it was 2 weeks later, he's like, well, here's 12. I'm like, this is great. And they're not very action oriented, which is why we both kind of said and he even states, expand on it, shift things around, maybe the fight scene could be another page or don't worry about it. But, for the most part, yeah. And then he submitted a 1-pager. This was just a 1-page comic about CROM Barbarian. and he did the art himself. He drew. I've inked on top of his drawings and stuff. But I was like, Steven, man, this has got to be a 2-pager, and I totally want to rip on the CROM inking style. Really put that in there. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And so this was also the break of the humor in the seriousness of sword and sorcery. So,
right.
Once again, very curated, to give you kind of a breather, be like, oh yeah, man, what if, this is pretty good, pretty funny. Or maybe not funny to you. I don't know.
No, I liked it.
I think it's funny. I'm just, I laughed when I first read it. So
for sure.
He got me.
No, I think it's great. And then on the next page, this is an example of his scripts.
Yep. So this is The Alchemist, and then
Mm-hmm.
this is literally just page one.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, like, I wanted people to kind of get that feeling like, oh, wow, that's kind of easy. You know what I mean? Or simple, or
Mm-hmm.
simplified. So you don't have to worry about, like, oh God, I have to, the complexity of like an Alan Moore 3 paragraph description of what's going to be in that panel.
Right. Right.
You're not living under that. So you can definitely, one thing. And they have a kind of a, how did we say it? Stephen and I came up with a good description. He's an older guy. He's in his 70s. But he was like, the Have Gun Will Travel
Mm-hmm.
television show,
Yep.
Richard Boone. I think he brought it up, but I've watched it, and and which was a template for those kinds of television shows where you got a gruff gun wielding hombre, but there's a situation in town that he inadvertently comes in and solves or paves over and then moves on to the next, maybe like
Right.
kung fu, that same type of thing.
Or the
So
Incredible
these
Hulk.
12, yeah, no, that's even better. When it came to like so it's the guy wandering through as CROM is wandering around, and then kind of going through, there. And they're like one of them's called the Child Killer, like that's one of the scripts, and that's actually being worked on by somebody right now, and like it's a bit like, whoa, okay, it's really interesting. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what somebody can do. So the challenge, instead of like it being like, yeah, man, action and swords and the blood and the arms getting cut off, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, where can we actually bring a little bit more, story qualifiers to CROM? So,
Right.
yep. And on top of it, one of my fantasies is that, like, for instance, The Alchemist gets made 5 times, let's say, right, over the next
Yeah.
couple of years, and I print them, right? So it's just 5 different interpretations. I would love to have them all in one book. So you would read the same script, like the script would be at the beginning of the book, and you
Right.
would go through 5 of these interpretations
Variations.
of
Yeah.
of it. Yep. That is totally what I'm hoping for. So I'm not earmarking any of the scripts on cromthebarbarian.com where it's like, somebody is already drawing this. It's like, no,
Right.
no, no, no. Just get on it. Get on it.
I mean, I like the idea, but if you have so many scripts already, I don't know. I just the pros and cons, I guess. I think it would be neat to have a single issue of 24 pages called The Alchemist and have, 4 different versions of it. But also, if you're going to fill out this book, like, would some people be annoyed that it's the same story over and over? I don't know. I wouldn't be, but
I I'm leaning constantly in the camp of the majority of people interested in CROM the Barbarian and the anthology as a project have some inkling to want to contribute to comics
yeah, they're makers. Yeah.
in some way. And so the curating value of each of the issues, that's one of the threads, is that you might be the first time really kind of engaging a comics anthology. I mean, it happens, right? Somebody like, oh, it kind of looks. I play Dungeons and Dragons. Let me grab a CROM Anthology 1 and see what's happening. And the next thing you know, it they get through it over the time that they spend, and they say, well, it's kind of writing scripts thing. Like I have ideas. I generate them from playing Dungeons and Dragons or these types of stuff, and I know so and so my brother draws, or and then you just go from there. I'm not looking for Marvel, DC,
No, I know.
level of like quote unquote professionalism. I'm actually looking for more of the like wild card stuff.
Raw.
So,
Yeah, I get you.
and then this is the kind of the other half of that comic relief, which is
Mm-hmm.
CROM Junior, and somebody's actually incorporated in their upcoming CROM story CROM Junior as like a teenager in there. So once again, perfect on the nose. I don't own CROM the Barbarian. CROM Junior, I guess we could go to court and have some kind of, but it's not of any interest to me because somebody did exactly what I wanted them to do. Is they got to this and they were like, dude, that's a great idea. You know what I mean? And by the content or context of CROM as a character, he has to start out as a baby, right? And so the idea is by the time he becomes this evil god, you have to deal with this cartoon lovable little character who is the one that ends up becoming the dark destroyer.
CROM boy, the adventures of CROM when he was a boy.
Well, I was always taken by it was Simon Beasley and I'm trying to remember who wrote it, but it was Bad Boy.
Frank Miller.
It was a kid. It was Frank Miller. Yeah. And I was like, that is super cool.
Yeah.
It was just great. I mean, it just also showed how Beasley is just, master at rendering no matter what it is. So it's a good times.
You went all in on a 6-page CROM Junior story.
And I got 5 more, and they're all done full color. So when this series is all printed through the black and white anthologies, it'll then get published as a full color comic with all 6 stories. Maybe actually I'll probably get to the 5th, and then the 6th would be the bonus in that story, in that print. We'll see what happens. So, but this of course is my wife's favorite thing. She likes seeing this on the drawing table.
Oh, cool.
So got to keep the wife happy.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes. So it was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. So tell me about this next one here. What's the story here?
This is like. So you remember DeviantArt?
Yeah.
I'm literally talking like 2010, 11, 12 or something like that. Yep. I'm still on DeviantArt. I made like 7 different kinds of accounts and everything. But anyhow, I was working on a sword and sorcery project. I guess it was 2013, and it was very similar to what I was doing now, but I was just trying to do it online. So I was just ran a Deviant group. I think it was called Keepers of the Sword and Sorcery Tradition. It was KOST, KOSST. Anyhow. But I would, constantly use DeviantArt to look for stuff, and it was very, used, well used, and people professionally had stuff up there. Dean Kotz put this adaptation of a Lord Dunsany, which is like one of the 4 pillars of sword and sorcery. You've got the Arabian Nights, the Arabian Nights, and then you have like the Norse mythology, the Eddas, all that stuff, Icelandic. And then you have Lord Dunsany, who was the one that started like amplifying fairy tales, and having a lot more political intrigue and roughness and stuff. So huge fan of that. So I was like, wow, man, this is really cool. So I reached out to Dean. I was like, have you ever printed this? And he's like, no, it was just like a fun project because I totally love, sword and sorcery and, blah, blah, blah. And it was just thinking, I was like, man, if I ever get the opportunity, I would love to print it. And he was like, yeah, reach out to me. And so in my little browser folder, it was in there that I went through when I was going out looking for people for contributions in getting CROM Anthology #1 together. Reached out to him and he goes, yeah, let's work out a deal. And we worked out a deal. So I'm really amazed that I have, it's funny because there were 3 or 4, I would put them at professional level work that I was trying to incorporate in the flow of the book. And to have Dean was awesome, but I did not get a couple of others just because we couldn't hammer out the right agreement at this point. But to have his work be here at this place and an interpretation of Lord Dunsany, I just can't. I can't. I couldn't be any happier, to have this in there for people to really just enjoy on those two levels. Because Dean, are you familiar with Dean's work?
Definitely heard the name. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you offhand
Yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
certainly I know the name.
I just think he's just one of those top rate guys, and he
I mean,
works.
this is great. It's gorgeous work, but it had never been printed before, is what you're saying?
Never been. Yeah. And that's like, you have to think like how crazy that is. Like, how does, yeah, I'm not even going to go into that. I was actually playing around with some ideas this morning. It was on DeviantArt again and found somebody's like story. And I think it's like 46 pages. I'm going to reach out because it kind of fits into this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I'll bet you it hasn't been published. I just bet you it hasn't been published. So yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Nice get. It's good story. I like it.
Yeah.
And like you said, it brings, a nice professional touch. Part of the charm of the whole book is you have people of all different skill. It's really, so Power Comics sometimes is described, or at least in my head, it's described as when the enthusiasm kind of is you have more enthusiasm than you have skill at this time.
Correct.
But, there's some of that in here, which is great. But then there's also, there's all different levels of craft in here. So I really, I think you put together a very nice source book for sword and sorcery in general, and CROM in particular. But I think that was the aim of the project, and I think you definitely hit the mark.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel the same way.
I expect that's going to be clipped because I know you're doing all these clips, so I should probably say something outrageous like swear and say fuck right now or something.
Oh yeah. Let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. I think that's one of the things I'm railing up against is the oversensitive seriousness about said things like sword and sorcery and comic books and publishing and being an artist. And I just find it to be so overwhelmingly drenched in bullshit that I don't understand how anybody would not want to sit down and in their quote unquote spare time. In other words, eliminate the 2 to 3 hours a night you spend watching Netflix or just drolling through it, right? Doom scrolling through just content. Work on something and get it out there, and I'm just trying to be a receiver on that end. Like somebody being like, whoa, wait a second. Oh, my shit could fit in there. Because it's CROM-centric is CROM Anthology. Like the whole idea is there was a magazine in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was called Fork, I think. I think it was. I think it was a food magazine. There's actually a restaurant in Philly now called Fork. Anyhow, but I always loved the idea of just like 4 letters as a word, a 4-letter word being the title of a magazine, and the content all just had to kind of stay centric. So the idea is that the book is CROM-centric, and CROM-centric really then is sword and sorcery, my definition of it. So once again, having Dean Kotz do this masterfully skilled story at his level and contribute it, but it be a Lord Dunsany, it's just the proof of the pudding. It's just I can quit now. I can say I've done it and move on to buying a baseball team or something like that.
Yes, of course. the runner-up hobby, yes.
But I'm just like I'm having such a grand time having the interaction with the people coming in. It's just It's really working well.
Certainly something I admire about you is you're not a procrastinator. You're always working on this stuff. And I wish some of that would rub off on me because I have a list of projects here like a mile long and I'm doing none of them. But I watched the latest episode of Game of Thrones last night. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's 2 things I learned by kind of watching, because I was definitely in the same camp, and because I was working a full-time job like you are, I was spending my evenings on YouTube watching like motivational and inspirational speakers. You know, everything from Tony Robinson to Neville Goddard, and just anybody else that would kind of like help me reform and reshape my head, my brain, you know, and yeah, well, it was like approach. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with my thinking. And I think that's one of the things I've been standing truer to, is not being so shy about my thoughts and my interpretations. And the truth is, the reason I stutter the most in speaking is because I'm very self-conscious of not saying exactly what's on my mind. So because it gets me in trouble because it's too sharp and edgy at times. But anyhow, I started finding after like a year or so going through these motivational videos and listening to these people, there were these very simple reinterpretations of the same set of skills. And the two that I'd hankered in on was scheduling yourself. So I have a Google account, Gmail account, and it comes with calendar. So what I do is I set up tasks, and those notifications are sent to me as an email. And I can't delete that email until I do the task. But then the thing I do for myself is I made an agreement with my wife, and I said, can I have from 9 a.m. on Thursday till 3 p.m. on Thursday to just be in my studio and do whatever I need to get done? Absolutely. And so then I started finding like, that's like having lunch. It's like 9, 10, 11, 12 to 1 lunch, 2 through 5 hours of work. But the thing is I wasn't going into my studio for 5 hours looking for something to do. I would go to my email and be like, oh shit, I gotta write this email to Matt King because I want to ask him this question about this and that, and maybe we could work together, or, pencil out, this, blah, blah, blah. And I have to say, over about 2.5 years, I mean, even my wife was like, holy crap, like, look at all this stuff that you've done. What are you going to do now? And I said, well, this is where I want to get back into doing who I am, which is being an artist, in one sense, but run a little business on it. So, and then I did a couple shows, like some comic book shows, and they went off really well at the end of 2015. And I made a joke to my wife and said, well, maybe I should quit and just do this because I got so much work. And she goes, yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. So
that's great.
The discipline, I think, is the hardest thing. It's not you. It's the way you go about things. One of the things I remember hearing from this guy, Gary V, is that he said, like, start counting how much time you spend not doing eat, sleep, work, and relationship. Like, be with your friends or your wife or family members. Like, try to clock in the hours that you're sitting in front of a television, reading comic books or magazines or flipping through your phone. And they find that 3 to 6 hours a day, this is just standardized human nature right now, is just wasted on phones and Netflix. 6 hours a day. Now, you can't deny sitting down and watching some great television. Game of Thrones, you can't deny it. I'm not trying to rail up against it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I still want to read comics. I still want to watch TV. Yeah. It's the doom scrolling, that the black hole that you get sucked into.
And that's, but I think the biggest thing that I have come connected with is now I would rather be working on my comic, my comic book, if you will, the CROM stuff, than watching television.
Yeah, okay.
So I moved the drafting table into the living room.
Oh, wow.
That was the next level. And of course that was like, I got to keep myself clean and organized because she can't come into my studio and clean and organize it. That's
Right.
off limits. But everywhere else in the house is hers, so she can.
Right.
So I'm not saying that every night I'm sitting there at the table watching television, because I do want to spend time watching TV with my wife. But most mornings at about 5:30, I'm just down there drawing, listening to music.
I have a much lower tech. I don't use Google calendars or have tasks, but I have a list.
Yeah, no, that's just it's the same thing. Like when you have the list up,
mm-hmm.
you got to be able to take a red marker pen and strike it off. Like that's your goal, right?
Right.
But then you have to afford yourself the time. That's the thing I don't think people kind of relegate to. They think, oh, well, I'll just add it to my life, right? Mm-hmm. I'll find the time. You know what I mean? No, redesign just a little bit of your life.
There's just not enough out. So I'm pretty much off for the winter because of my job. So we have the front room has some big windows and it gets a lot of light. And I like to go out there and read my comics in the morning after I do all my Power Pulp social media and stuff. And I sit out there until lunchtime, and then I'm like, okay, then I'll get serious. But my wife will get home from work at 4:00. So that's only 4 hours if I don't goof off, So I don't know. Yeah. We should probably get back to the book here.
No, I enjoy I really do enjoy this kind of conversation, because I think it's also necessary. It's also, I think it's really good mental health maintenance. And I nothing good's going to come out of doom scrolling or watching TV for the rest of your life, like for anybody, like any of us. But if you got at the end of your life and you were like, I got this little comic book story into this, CROM Anthology, at least if you could look back and see that, like, it doesn't feel like a complete waste, that type of thing.
That was an extreme sense of accomplishment, getting these 2 books out in the world was.
Oh, yes. Man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm good, if I don't do anything else, I'm okay,
And you have said that in the past. We've also talked about the repurposing of said material in, going back to like floppy, grabbing 36 to maybe 48 pages of content and, and seeing what can come out of, getting that material out there.
Right.
Because I think that's the toughest part, is that, somebody, honkering with the 2 is like $50 is with that. That's the retail at this point and stuff.
Yeah.
It's worth every penny.
Yeah. I mean, it's 500 and something pages. So, I mean, the maths, as they say, but it's still a bitter pill to swallow. I get it.
But it would be 1 month, maybe let's say 1/2 of the month's expenses towards buying comics, but you're getting, I mean, this is like 30 something short stories, I think more than that.
32.
Yeah, 32 and then you get a whole run,
100 pages of pinups.
100 pages. How many comic books do you have to buy at under $50 to get, to this point? So that's kind of a logical way of like, going to powerpulpcomics.com and picking up either 1 or 2, to do it, to get down to it. But, like Matt, let's keep whipping this horse on, getting Matt King involved in crime.
I hear you.
Oh, do you? Do you really hear me?
I hear you. I don't know. I haven't come up with a great idea.
All right, here you go. Give me a great idea. Now,
so my next project that I want to do, that I've written some scripts for later on in the series, CROM does enter into it. So I would like to maybe write a prequel to that to see how we get there, but I have not done it.
Okay, so but in all fairness, are you creatively locked into your Tales to Enlighten world? Like, is that how you structure things, or is it like fuck this guy Kurt, and his CROM project. I'll throw him a script. I'll give him a free script and see what the hell he gets at. He could get back out of that. Like, would you have that type of like response?
No, I would. I'd be willing to do that. I just haven't. I haven't given it a lot of thought, I guess, but nothing jumped right out of top of mind. There's something to.
Well, you're on my list. You know what I mean? You're definitely on my list as a writer, because I think the other thing that people are missing in Tales to Enlighten is, and you can go back to the interview Jake and I on Turbo Pit Fighters YouTube channel, and I believe we had two episodes. Yeah, because we did both volume 1 and 2. Yep. But the Jake before we had you on was like, Kurt, there's a lot of like, I'm like, sex and cursing. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, we'll figure out how to edit around it and stuff, but this is indie comics. But Jake's a middle school art teacher, so we wanted to keep him from losing his job and pension. Sure. So we kind of moved through. But, one of the things it's like one of the many things I love about indie comics is there's no guardrails per se. So and your approach to this character, and obviously Tales to Enlighten is a lean against organized religion and cultisms and these kinds of things, and also mashing in superhero types of trope and everything. But I want this in CROM Anthology. I want this level. Yeah, and that was one of the reasons I got Rick Frayne involved, and we just had our meeting. We came up with a really cool idea for the next. It's probably going to be, he's going to get enough out of this photo shoot for at least 3 issues worth.
Oh, great.
And some. But I was joking with him, and I said, one of the things, I want to really get you involved in is because I need more boobs in the magazine, because it's, heavy metal meets sort of Savage Sword of Conan. He's like, no, I get that. I figured that was pretty much number one why you wanted me to to start talking to the models and go that route. But it was also the adult nature, let's say, of said work and stuff. So
yeah, well, I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if it's a big case of imposter syndrome, but even in on my Instagram, it's like writer is in quotes, because I don't really look at myself as a writer, and everybody can say otherwise if they want, and sure, I'd love it, but
just how about just changing it to writing?
Right.
And that's one of the things I'm ticked off about in our so-called socially structured world, is this defining writer as, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. Like, I could call myself a writer. Anybody can call themselves a writer. Better yet, you could call yourself an author. I'm an author. Right. It's like, right. Really? Like, what are you going to do for me, though? Like, I don't care what the hell you call yourself. What are you going to do for me? Like, what, and this is something I talk, in very, very aggressively excitable ways, is I am only on this planet to escape. I'm more than welcome to run society's tracks and, earn a living and pay my mortgage and taxes and be married. I'm fine with everything I got going. But when it comes to my time sitting down in front of something, I want to escape. I want your job is to push me off into another place. And once again, express.
I think that horse is dead, Kurt. You can leave it alone. What the fuck?
Oh, okay.
I don't want to see that book pop up one more time on the screen.
Really?
No.
Really?
Let's get back to CROM.
Yes, let's
tell me about this, because I'm fascinated with these next few pages here.
This is a guy I don't think many people know about, is John Atkins Richardson. I collect sparsely fanzines. So going back into like the 60s and 70s, one of the trophies I have was one of the first fanzines that had published Bernie Wrightson's illustrations, and got Bernie Wrightson the year he passed away to sign them. Sign the thing, and it was so cool. I was like, Bernie, can you sign this book? And he looked at it and he goes, "Who did that?" And I was like, "That's you." And he goes, "Yeah, I know, but who was that guy?" And I was like, "Dude, this is like, this is my jam from, when you were doing sword and sorcery and stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, that's me." He's like, "That's just all me." He's like, "I don't see this stuff coming." And it was at Baltimore Comic-Con.
I love bringing books to creators at shows that they hardly ever see. Sometimes I bring stuff, that's popular too, because I love it and I want them to sign it. But when I saw Bernie, I met Bernie a couple times at Boston Comic-Con, and I have this giant resin. It's not life size, but it's it's a Frankenstein bust that he sculpted, and then they produced, I don't know how many of them, but I brought it to the show, and he's like, "Hey, can you just leave this at the table?" Because I was working there too. He goes, "Can you just leave this at the table for the day?" And, so everybody was coming up, "Oh my God." But on the bottom of it, it was, I don't know, 16 inches. He signed his name, like, real big. It's really, I wish I had it like handy. I could show you, but it's so cool. Maybe next time.
Yeah, definitely. So, when I go to comic shows, I'm always looking for the biggest box that will have the magazines in them.
Yes,
because you're always safer in starting there than just trying to go through dollar boxes and trying to find stuff.
100%.
So if you're not going to get, I don't have a lot of time, especially if I'm tabling. So I just got to earmark them. So occasionally I'll go through, and then there'll be like 2 or 3 of these fanzines in there. And years ago, I got this Maxor, it's Fantastic Exploits number 21. And I bought it on a whim with probably like 1 or 2 others. And so these are blown up panels from that first, like these panels are literally like that big. And I high-res scanned them.
The issue itself is 8.5 by 11, or it's magazine size?
Yes, magazine size. It is magazine size, but it has like some of the stories he did like newspaper strip, kind of like, so then you got to turn the book and everything. But I'm going to kind of run like each panel sequentially in like here. I just really wanted you to feel the expansiveness of his work, like just the like I said,
incredible.
But this is a no larger than 3 by 3 inch panel. This is the other thing. So each of these panels are going to get a whole page, and I'm gonna sequence out throughout the like about 8 pages or so of Maxor in order to kind of just have it back into print. But basically, just because there's so little of the fanzine and print to be able to get a hold of them, that people get in touch with him. Now, he did in '79. He published a the art of cartooning, and he was an art professor in like, oh God, what was it? Illinois. Yeah, it was the Complete Book of Cartooning.
Southern Illinois University.
Yeah, Southern
Edwardville.
Illinois University. Yep, right there. Passed in 2011, which I didn't get a hold of this until like 10 or something, and then I didn't get as far into anything to want to reprint it till 2015, and of course, it's a tough thing to manage, but I just think the world of somebody, once again. Like this is what's called clip art. Mm-hmm. So there was magazines where you could like, Dover Book put them out. So he manipulated basically everything around it to be this, ornate door. And then this is a photograph, probably Xeroxed, and then he worked into, which might have been down by his his house and everything. But a real teacher, a real explorer. But I think the deeper part of it is just one of those old school Edgar Rice Burroughs pulp fans. And he just, once again, every time I open them, there's 5 of them. Yeah, 5 of them. And I have all 5.
5 of them that featured the artwork.
Maxor. Well, yeah, because they have like a little segment in the fanzine.
Okay, I see. So that just the idea that a fanzine called Fantastic Exploits has 21 issues. That's real commitment.
I think it goes to like 40 something, 50 actually, something like that. Because I think he's in one of the last issues, which goes out to about 50. But yeah, we're talking the old school fanzines where it was like listing comics for sale, people who were selling and buying comics, people were writing their articles, submitting their illustrations, short stories, and everything like that. And that's what this is all about.
Right.
Dan Snoke, called me out on it when we did a review of CROM Anthology #1, and he right out of the gate, he goes, "It's not a comic book, Kurt. It's a book, right? It's like a book, like a fanzine, right?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." He's like, "All right, as long as we got that square, we know how to approach this."
Yeah, it's combination comic, textbook, source book, resource book.
So, I do want to return to a previous topic and maybe try to get you locked in on something here. I would love to get a written review of something from you.
Oh, that sounds like work.
Okay, so no problem. Just think about it though. Think about it. Just think about not like a review.
For what?
I don't know. We can kind of bounce something around. There could be something. The thing I would most want from you is something of an artifact comic that you hold as sort of like a Rosetta Stone to doing your writing and making your comics, and maybe even a part of your collecting, that type of thing, and obviously have a sword and sorcery fantasy kind of centric kind of thing to it, but
let's talk more about that afterwards. Let's put a fucking pin in that one.
Fair enough. And now
yes, drawn sword.
I mean,
and Ron Parsons, who keeps popping up in my feed lately. So
yeah, he's on fire too. I have just received the first draft of his Alani novel, illustrated by James Anthony, and so CROM Published is going to be putting that together. So this week I'll actually be putting the proofs together for the 3 of us so we can start reviewing for it. But Ram he just submitted a free Lala script that just got posted on cromthebarbarian.com. But once again, because of the community, Drawn Sword, just like myself, we've talked about it in interviews, Drawn Sword and I, is writing, not a big strong thing, not a strength, not even something you kind of get hard about, you know what I mean? You're like, "Ooh, I'm going to start writing," you know what I mean? It's and he reached out on his own to Ram, and Ram has written 6 CROM the Courageous scripts. 2 is already being penciled and laid out, obviously 11 pages each, and Drawn Sword, last that I talked to him, I don't think it's changed, but he's on fire about it. And 2, once again, Drawn Sword doesn't have to be in the worry zone at any point for writing, trying to make sense of the word. You know what I mean? That he gets to do what Drawn Sword does. And I found Drawn Sword on a whimsical search on Google years ago, and it was in that same folder as Dean Kotz. I said, man, if I did anything, I want to get this guy involved. And he's in New Zealand, and I mean, I come on.
Yeah.
The artistry of his pencils is it's mind-boggling. It's just and he like Ken Landgraf will get on his YouTube channel, which is Drawn Sword Graphics with an X, and just draw for like 15-20 minutes. And between Ken and him, that could be like a whole night, because I'll even go back and watch those. I watched Ken last night. He had like three videos go up. That's 15 minutes. It's up 45 minutes of my life, So love it. Scoundrel's Dread, available on cromthebarbarian.com. 36
I love
pages,
that book.
A4. I call it a dark art concept book, and Intergalactic Barbarians. And he has a comic he's working on called Karnok, Karnok, that is out of this universe. Like, so it's centric to, and I'm like, dude, it's going to be great. So, yeah. So we get a CROM 11-pager, courageous, and just can't get enough of Drawn Sword's work.
No, it's great. This one where the big panel where it's like Skull Crusher, drink your fill or whatever. I mean, oh, hell yeah. Just the crazy whatever's going on there with the teeth, and then like, I don't know, saliva shit coming out of it, and then the background is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and to have him in contribution to his contribution to a CROM anthology every issue is, in my feeling, makes it rock solid. Like, his work is like a solid cornerstone in feeling that continuity of what it is that should be expressed out of it, because he is just, he has a master of his own domain of creating an escapist fantasy world. He just masters it. There's no like, oh, it's kind of like, no, it's not. It's just Drawn Sword. Like, you see his work, you're like, oh shit, that's that guy. What's his name? Oh yeah, Drawn Sword. So yeah, looking forward to more and more from him. So
it says, the last panel says to be continued. So
hell yeah, and I know for a fact, it is in the rolling. So
all right,
it's nice. It's so great. So we were talking in the last episode right out of the gate, Matt. Skullbiter, Skullcracker, and Skull Crusher.
Okay.
So Crusher was the third one.
Right.
Full circle, everybody. Full circle. So Rogan of the North.
Yeah.
So
this is also very power comic-y.
Oh God. So here's the short. I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. Once again, you doing Google searches for sword and sorcery stuff, and come across PDFs on archive.org. So I think there's 6 or 7 of them. Download them. Holy shit, this is some great stuff. And I'm going to explain why it's great when I finish this story. I searched David D. Lanciani, right? Nothing. I searched David Lanciani, nothing. I search D. Lanciani, and I come up with a YouTube channel for experimental music. And I'm like, this is kind of interesting. So I go there. There's no contact information. I love the music. I'm sorry I can't remember right now what it is, but I'm going to be sharing more and more about it. I make a comment on one of his videos. Are you the guy who made Rogan of the North? He says, yes. I said, I would like to reprint your work. May I? He responded, why? I then said, I really love it. I'm doing a yada, 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 what this whole episode, right? And he goes, well, let me think about it. And then so I gave him a couple of weeks. I came back to that same thread. I think we ended up speaking maybe through Instagram or something like that. I can't remember, maybe email. But he said, he goes, you know what? Knock yourself out. They're yours. You can have them. And I said, well, do you still have the original art? No, it all got washed away in a flood about 10 years ago. I was like, shit, okay. I said, but, I want to get you a copy. I want to, blah, 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 blah. Dead silence. I'm actually redrawing these at 11 by 17 with what I believe to be the 2 pens he used, which is the Sharpie fine point. It's a fine liner. It's not the one that looks like.
Not this one.
Huh?
Not this one.
Yeah. Let me see. Because
this is just like the standard.
This is the bold. Yeah. This is for filling in black.
Right.
I don't even think I have. But Sharpie puts out something kind of like this.
Okay. Yep.
So it's just a it's like the fine liner tip, from Flair and stuff. So that's all I do. I just printed out 10% at 11 by 17, and I meticulously work over his line to be able to basically reproduce the pages for print instead of a really, really, really downgraded PDF. Now, why? The answer to the question is yes, very crude high school level work. But I match this to most of that power comics in general, that the paneling is superior. The storytelling in this is superior. The cameras, the changing of because most power comics, and anybody, myself included too, by the way, so I'm not throwing anybody under the fucking truck. You basically stay in a mid-zone camera shot, right? So you just basically move the camera, a little bit, and it's just mid-zone. When somebody can throw in something like this, I'm listening, I'm watching, I'm reading. And then Dutch angle, Dutch angle, and then goes through. There's a chance that I'm going to redo this work. I just don't know when and I'm going to have the time, but there's a chance that I might go through and amplify this work. It's mine now, if you will. It's just.
So you have another 4 stories from David?
More than that. I think it's 6. Okay. I think it's 6. So very much looking forward. 1985.
And they're all like these, whatever, 6 pages or whatever?
Yeah, wandering into town. But I think, once again, if you're out there and you're struggling, I wish you had music. Ding, 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 ding. And you want to make a comic, and you have a comic idea, and it happens to be sword and sorcery, come and join us. CROMTheBarbarian.com. Dun, 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 dun. I also, because somebody also kind of called me out on this. I'll leave the person, Jake's name out on.
Yeah, definitely don't mention Jake.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to. But the only reason it's important to me to be in the book is the storytelling. I think is it's hard to rival. I couldn't beat this. That's what I'm experiencing. I can't beat the storytelling. I could beat the drawing. I could redraw this thing to be like a masterpiece, right? And color it and so on and so forth. But I wanted somebody to be able to see something where they're like, oh, I can draw like that, and then go ahead and give the attempt, like the sleepy eyes.
Did you send David a copy?
I have. He is non-responsive. So I don't know if he's embarrassed or I don't know. I don't know him at anything other than the admiration I gave him. I still have for him. Like I said, his music channel, which is it's a play on his name. It's like Dimension X, but it's something in there like Dimension, like his last name, Lanciani, but it's like Dimension X, and that's how it ended up through Google deep searching. I ended up finding him, but
I'll reach out again and see if you can get in touch with him.
Oh, I do.
I would think he'd want to see what you did with it.
He gets 2 copies. They're going to always be here for him. So as soon as I get out there, everybody, comic book story wise published gets 2 stories. Scratchboard by Jim Gullett, which goes back to.
I love this page.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
The Jim Gullett piece.
This piece here.
Yeah.
That's me scratchboarding it. I love it. I scratchboarded. Yeah, and I do too. And I love Jim's work, and I hope Jim comes back to CROM Comics.
I just think it's so cool.
Yeah,
you got that eye in the back. Like, what's going on there? Who knows, right?
I'm down. I mean, the sword's freaking balls.
The way you have his right fist there. I mean, I think this is a great page.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed doing it, and I want to do more of this scratchboard style stuff. I'd love to do a whole story like this. So
wow,
who knows? As you might notice, people, I have a lot of dreams, and I'm chasing all of them at the same time because I have ADD, and I'm proud of it.
But like you said, if you work on all these projects at the same time, they take longer to get done, but they will get done, and you'll have a lot of stuff.
So when I get that 5 hours, when I used to get that 5 hours, I would do 15 things in 5 hours at minimum, because I had all these things that would come up as ideas, and like, you got to check this, so it could be like kind of like work, like business types of things. But when it came down to like working on something, it'd be like work on 2 pages of this,
right.
Finish those 2 pages. It was just got to get that. You can't do anything else until you get that done.
Right. Well, time management as a creator is a big deal,
Yeah. So Adam Bennett, big news. First time saying this. He has art-proof copies in the works right now with Blurb for his CROM Altar of the Serpent. And so we're definitely going to see another 7 pages, I believe. Yeah, 7 pages of the story, because this is part 1. But his whole arc will be as a floppy for sale by the time this goes. CROM Anthology 2 goes in print. Release.
Great.
So big news. Now
that's fantastic.
Adam Bennett was the other guy next to 2 other people that were working on CROM from the public domain. So Adam, though, was the only person that actually engaged me. The other 2, one never responded ever to me, and the other one is not a very good communicator. So it was just a hard time trying to keep a flowing conversation in. We're in this small little world and community.
Yeah,
can we help each other out? Right.
I would think that anybody, if you find 2 or 3 other people that are doing the same sort of thing as you separately, not knowing each other, like, fucking form like Voltron, motherfuckers.
Hell,
what the hell?
Yes. Hell yes. So this was just hot off the presses. I said nothing to Adam. I hadn't talked to him for a while. He bought a copy of it, and he was the first person to review it on his YouTube channel. And it was just very like, holy shit, once again, this is working. Like it's not just trying to be a published paid comic book artist. It's building and having a community of like-minded people.
I think you mean a CROM-unity, don't you?
CROM-unity, exactly. So he did go into a shift in life, and so he did move away from working on comics and CROM specific. Disappeared. And I had concerns. But once again, I went to my folder to reach out to those people I would love to have in CROM Anthology #1, reached out to him, and lo and behold, he was already working on this CROM Altar of the Serpent.
So this Altar of the Serpent, he did not specifically make for your anthology here. He was already underway.
He's a CROM brother. He's like Jamie Barrows in the CROM crew. He holds his own space for CROM. Yeah,
a CROM maniac.
CROM maniac.
We can use it.
Trademark, Matt King.
Nah, you can use it.
But thank you, CROM maniac. That's awesome. So, you want to talk about leveling up on like approach to his work, like hands down amazing, and revisiting like I did my my ballpoint pen pages, and then just reimagining them at another level, which was my get better at this, but my texture and tone and texture approach that I got into CROM 2024 collected. So just an amazing thing. So very much looking forward to having the whole story and more stories from Adam Bennett. So.
Yeah, this last page of his is a second to last page, I guess, or whatever. Let's see. Oh no, third to last page. He's
ripping the monkey in half.
Yes. What a page,
dude! Come on. And you know what? The other masterful approach to the story is the text sits in alignment with the art.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I got to tell you all this stuff I'm thinking, and then here's a little drawing. It's like, here's a little bit of words, some description. Here's a little bit of drawing, and then we're gonna go to the next one. You know what I mean? Like the flow is just wonderful. It's just wonderful. So
good stuff.
Love it.
And then we have a VIP appearance of Mr. Ken Landgraf.
So next to Drawn Sword, if there's not a Ken Landgraf in a CROM Anthology,
something went wrong.
I just don't know if I can publish. I just don't know if it's that. I have finished writing a part 2, 6-page script. I will be getting in contact with the man himself tomorrow, and hoping he has time for me in his schedule to give me the next 6 pages of CROM and Dravenus.
I'm pretty sure he'll make it work.
I really hope so. So, there's so many things that can be said about Ken that I'm gonna keep it to one thing. I send him the script. I was definitely too informative, most lax, writers at my caliber, but just wanted to make sure I was getting across my idea, but was very much hoping to get what I got back in pages. So I just knew I was just like, here you go. And I'll wait for them to come in. Now I did ask to have the sketches sent with the original pages, and that he did some videos, which if you go to Ken Landgraf on YouTube, you can watch him doing the inking on CROM and Dravenus thing. He sends me an email, and it just says, can I add a beautiful girl to your story? And I just responded, yes.
Yes, and please.
I couldn't put the please in there because I had to get the yes out to him as fast because I didn't want him to back out of it. But I get this character, and let me tell you, you want to talk about informing the next 6 pages? It's going to be hot. I'm just telling you, it's going to be hot. And I wrote this script for Ken, so it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing. And Jake and I learned that when we had him do the casualties, and it was more Jake, but learning to be just sort of like in alignment with the way somebody creatively, impulsively just pushes marks on the paper in order to make that thing happen. And it's amazing. I just love it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I mean, I feel like you do have to have Landgraf work in every issue now.
And we just got to keep him happy and healthy. And
he sent you the originals?
Yeah. Yep. So
I imagine that's fun to look at.
Oh, I have them so close to me. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I said, I think in the last episode was, I some mornings I'll just pull them out and just lay them out and then just kind of look at them and just be like,
Yeah. Try to absorb it.
yeah, it's the attack method. He has an attacking method to it. He's not precious. He's not like, oh, got to get the hand right. Oh, it's, you know, I'd have to even calibrate it to a similar feeling with Drogon of the North. You know, if you look at his underlying sketches, these are a little bit more embellished, but his are very similar. He gets all of the action in there in just black lines, just Sharpie black, just or whatever pen he's using at that time. And then he light boxes it, starts cutting and gluing down. Randomly, it looks like these screen tones, and then boom, bring in the blacks, spot the blacks, and hatch it, and you got a Landgraf, man.
I know.
I mean,
once again, the story veers into we got some cyborg in here.
Love it. That was him too. He didn't even. No. I think that was a cyborg. No, maybe not. I have to check the script. But I know I think he was taunting me on the whole. Do you want me to add a beautiful girl to this? I was like, yes.
Certainly, yes.
So, and then Frank Ray's Arik Khan. Dun, 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 which is going to be coming in 2026, I hope. I'll be working with, I am working with Adam Lemna of Relic Hunter.
And, Adam is the one who turned me on to this book a couple years back.
Yeah, well, the original, I wanted to work with you on it, but you pushed it over to him, which I was like, duh. Why did I even waste that email to Matt?
That's right.
But Relic Hunter 2 is in pre-ordering on Cosmic Lion Productions. I have actually ordered multiple copies because I got to get these out to people.
Adam said that they don't have them in hand yet, but they're expecting to start shipping pre-orders the beginning of February, which is where we're at now. So I would imagine any day.
Yeah, I'm willing to wait. I mean, we've waited a while,
and it has been a week since I talked to Adam, so maybe they do have them in hand, but it's imminent.
Yeah. So I mean, true soul in the way of like power comic, sword and sorcery, storytelling. So our goal with Arik Khan in the reprint, which I secured permission from the Ray's family. Is to add another 6 to 8 page story of Arik Khan, written and laid out by Adam, penciled, pencil being like part of that laying out, and then I'll ink it, and we'll continue the legacy that is Arik Khan, which I did divulge to you the General CROM thing. Which he goes to the east, where the Assirs in Fox's original CROM stories are from the east. And so I actually just started working on the doodles, like just page laying out for General CROM this morning. And the whole thing is kind of templating on CROM becoming like Genghis Khan. And he's now moving from the east back towards Ophir.
I think you mean Genghis CROM.
Oh my God! Is that legal? Is that legal? Holy shit! What am I gonna do now? I can't keep on.
Yeah, this Arik Khan stuff, this Frank Ray's, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's and not a lot of work. Like he was, basically working for Warren Magazine. I think there's something he did in Savage Sword, but. It's totally 110%. What I'm all about and what I grew up on. Like this is the scanned, heart inside me of why I'm so into comics. It's not superheroes and
I'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it or come across it until Adam pointed it out to me. I bought it on like eBay or mycomicshop.com or something, and since I have seen it in my like in a bargain bin, like, and I just I just bought them because it's like what Piscor used to call a rescue
Yeah,
mission. When you see
yeah,
them,
yeah.
like you
Yep, I'm
just
same
can't
way.
just leave them there. But
Same way.
I remember reading in, I think it was the first issue, where he says he wants it to be 12 issues long, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
only gets to 3. But
yeah,
so
yeah. But we're gonna try to bring something to that, And once
right,
again, low to no stress project.
yep,
Adam's a full time video editor. He also
sure,
has his own comic and everything. So we've already put
family,
we've put yeah, family. That's always most important. And then we've already done 2 sit down recordings in archives. So once we kind of
nice.
get out there, you'll have these like ancient videos where him and I are talking about what's it's going to be really cool to release that
Hmm.
when it all comes together. And then I think this is the last. Let me see
Yes,
this.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah,
Before you get
yeah.
to the pinups, yeah.
Just another
Pat Boyette.
unsung hero of comics. I
Yeah.
just one of my favorite comic stories at top 3 is Carrion of the Gods by Pat Boyette, which was in a Skywald magazine
Mm.
called Psycho. I think it was
I've got
Psycho.
all those. I'll have to look it up.
Um, yeah, actually, Mister what do you call him? Mike Hoffman. I have the
Oh
issue.
yeah.
Oh, here it is, right here. Oh, look at that. That's the first time that ever fucking worked out. So, Eerie Comics. I don't know. I got his special Sword and Sorcery issue. I don't know if anybody out there is a Mike Hoffman fan, but don't know how you
I
aren't.
have a
And I
couple.
don't.
I have a couple originals from him.
There's some great stuff. What
Yeah.
a guy! But he did it before me. Reprinted Carrion of the Gods.
Oh
So that was
wow.
one of the reasons I wanted to get a hold of this was, immortalizing and keeping it out there in print thing. But this, you want to talk about bonkers story? This is like I have escaped inside this story 100 times. I want to rewrite. I want to add on to the ending because I have this other like possible, um, juxtaposition to what he put in here, and I think it's a little too jam short. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, come on, guys.
So what's the deal with reprinting that? You have to talk to somebody about doing it because that's certainly not public domain, right?
No, it's not. But
If
it's
Mike did it.
yeah, it's a funny little thing where I've done the research and the idea is, and you got to be careful, because somebody can come and claim, but all of my research led to it being okay because the people that I reached out to basically sort of endorse that there's nobody governing the estate. So, which really does like it just breaks my heart. Um, that somebody like this can slip away. Now, I have a policy, just in when I do things like this that if somebody was to come and blah 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 blah, I have to be completely straight up and
Sure.
go with it. So but for the most part, I would I would assume as well as Mike Hoffman would, and some of the other people that I talked to, that all you're trying to do is keep a
Sure.
man's work alive. I'm not
Yep.
profiting. I'm not. Nobody's going to come by and be like, oh, I got to get a cut of that guy's pie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just not true. And the way he tells his sword and sorcery fantasy comics, which is quite a few. As a matter of fact, just got a copy. This will be going into, just to tease, issue number 2. This is one of my other favorites. Um, this is The Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves 51
Mm-hmm.
and The Enchanted Man. I'm not going to spoil it, but
Okay.
almost like a part 2 to Carrion of the Gods in a weird way, or yeah, like a part 2 to it. So I kind of want to bridge the two of those,
I
but
probably have. I got a bunch of those. I would imagine I have that. But
it's great stuff.
Here's what Mike Hoffman did for me here.
What do you got?
This pinup.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's hot, man. Hot.
But yeah, I those Skywald magazines, a lot of them were. I hope I'm not getting this story wrong, but it was like they took old EC stories and they just redrew them, and there was like
Ooh.
it was like a whole legal thing. Or was that Skywald or was that a different company? I think it
I
was in
can't speak to it.
Skywald.
I can't speak to
Yeah.
it. I know
Uh,
somebody in the 60s bought a whole bunch of, I don't think it was Erie stuff or anything, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't be surprising,
mm-hmm.
So
Amazing, Kurt. Amazing.
This is a Merlin type S story,
Yeah.
which I'm kind of templating the Dravanis character on. So this was one of the reasons I also wanted to get there. It's kind of a buffering because Dravanis is a very integral part to CROM becoming a dark god. So the development of him, obviously through previous characters and comics, are there. So, but and then the rest.
Is Dravanis an original creation of yours, or is that from the okay?
Yeah, that's that. When I sat down, I knew I wanted to do a dungeon adventure for CROM, where he's like just going after treasure and shit and fighting like whatever is down there. And I wanted to put a sorcerer with him, like somebody who could basically do the magic side of the game. And both of them are playing thieves, so that's kind of the other part of it, is that they're these two thieves that are looking for treasure in these monster-ridden caves, and of course come across this damsel in distress type of situation. So things go through, and there's going to be a lot of manipulation of CROM in these stories. So yeah, that's that. And of course, just to flip through all the CROM creators, they all got a 2-pager where you have a QR code where you can find more out about them. I totally stole that from you in the back. I just didn't do the whole listing where you put in like that thing, but index. It was the same kind of feeling. I also wanted to blow up panels.
I like that.
You get a little bit more like, ooh, look,
I didn't have any.
There's that screen thing he's got going on there.
Can you imagine? I put an additional 100 pages for the blow-ups in there. It would be too much.
No. I got to going to be paring that down.
That David Molina piece is cool.
Yeah, I reached out to David again. I want to get something from him, but once again, life shifts for people.
Yeah,
totally get it. Totally support whatever I can do.
Ryan Dirks, that's a name. That's a name that keeps popping up on our Power Pulp Discord. He's around.
His story is already in the can. It's Zolak the Stone Walker. So very, very sword centric, CROM sword and sorcery centric and stuff. Rolf did not get in, but I'm going to try to get Rafe back get in soon. But I really wanted him to have this QR code in there to get to his YouTube channel and then all the goodness there. But and then the CROM Brutal Blade of CROM Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So Jamie Barrows, Jake Quirk.
Jake Quirk had some stuff in Tales.
Matt Chi.
Yeah, he's a Power Pulp guy.
He's a Power Pulp comics guy. Alex Turbin, Alan Robinson, Claude Willis, Joseph Leonardo. Grimothy Ripper. I had mentioned him earlier. Just read his purchase. I actually for sale have read, and I'm selling copies of his first comic, Gorge the Seeker, based on Circle of Iron with David Carradine movie and book written by Bruce Lee. So I'm telling you. Yeah. You want to get into some trippy ass shit, you're going to want to get a copy of Gorgeous
Eli Wallach in the pot of oil.
Oh my god, come on, dude, like come on.
The flute.
Mr. Meow, South Korean artist here, so really cool.
Cool, man. You gotta. I think you
Rex
really put together a
Schneider.
nice book here, Kurt.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
And it
and
sounds
we're
like
looking forward.
it sounds like you have a lot going on as far as putting together the next couple too.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of ingredients, you know?
Yeah, that's what I want. I want this experience. Oh yeah, this is coming soon. Doom Mag's number one. I think you get a chuckle at that. Coming soon, like 2028. But
please clip that for the Turbo Pit Fighter channel.
It's great. I know. I just finished, Matt. All 11 pages of the Alex Turbin. It's all done. I gotta scan them and get them to Jake. It's out of my hair. I gotta return.
Incredible.
I gotta return to the. I gotta get all of these little spot illustrations from the tabloid, the tableau illustration. But I'm pretty much done. Like Jake's got to put the book together.
When you had Alex on a few weeks ago, and he was suggesting adding pages to his story. The deathly silence, the deathly silence that came from the two of you was made me just.
I was kind
of out loud.
Well, I think the next thing that I ended up saying was, yeah, and then we'll just cut it in half, and so all I have to do is have the first 7 pages done, then I can finish the next 7, blah blah blah. But Jake was like, no, we're going to,
yeah.
So
turning back.
All good. It's all good. It's all in fair excitement and being ecstatic about this whole thing.
Well, this is a book you certainly should be proud of. A great accomplishment.
Thank you.
What's the question everybody loathes after you put out a book? But when is the next one?
So end of this month is rough drafts are due, which means. I need a placeholder. I basically need to know what it is that you're going to be ultimately completing. And I really like this process. I will be putting together a mock-up. This is the mock-up for the CROM Anthology number 1. And it will be for sale for a limited period of time. I sold 11 copies of this, which was a big exciting surprise. But it just goes to show you the fan base that's a part of the community. It's the building from there. It will be more than 200 pages, but I will then curate it down to what gets completed and submitted by the end of April. So all pages going to print will be end of April, which will give me May to get my stuff done, put together. And then hopefully, if everything lines up, I will have proof copies at the beginning of June. And I would anticipate launching release to the public by the end of June, beginning of July.
Awesome, dude.
A lot less of time than a year and a half. So, or a year and 3 months, I think it took me to do CROM Anthology 1. But I've learned a lot. And I'm excited. So, one thing I do want to express to everybody out there, it's a load of no stress project, which includes me, by the way. I'm not just saying that for other people. It includes me. 2, it's curated. So as Matt and I have gone through this episode and the previous episode, there might be really strong stories, but they don't work in that curation for this number 2, but they'll be held for number 3, or how it goes. So it's going to be probably the hardest, bumpiest ride, because I know the individuals that did not get in weren't happy, but I hope my explanation and their perspective about what it is that I'm working on and accomplishing is less than jamming 256 pages together, or plus 300 pages to just say it's a big, thick comic.
Right. Well, hopefully you can get them in the next issue, because any longer than that would be super frustrating, I would think.
Oh, no, absolutely. But then what happens is then I would curate either my work to be closer to that work.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like that could actually, they could end up being
kind of a central theme.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. I'm pretty much the central theme of this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I am kind of in the second one, but it all depends on what I get. You know what I mean? What comes out.
So my battery is almost dead, but I just wanted to ask one more time, one more question. The public domain kind of reprinting stories, is that proportional to the next issue too? Like the Pat Boyette piece and this and that. You have stuff like that for the next issue?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you got plenty of that stuff. You didn't burn it all.
I'm not like to be honest with you, I have over 200 pages right now.
Right.
In works.
Sounds like it.
In works. Like committed. I've seen stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like I have seen stuff. So it's not that I'm talking about the people who said I want to do an 8-pager. I'm talking about people said I have an 8-pager. Here are my 8 pages laid out. Okay. There could be something that comes into completion. Once again, I'm not going to sit here and keep people, going. And I do have to say the end of April will be a very stern cut because I'll have enough at the end of April. It's not going to, and and once again, it's just your priorities and your mental health and low to no stress and everything. And don't worry, not going anywhere unless I do, which is dying. Because I have personally a stake in accomplishing my rendition of CROM to become Conan's God. That's what this will be produced as long as I'm working on getting to that story resolve.
I love it. Well, congratulations, Kurt.
Thank you. And I always enjoy hanging out with you and talking comics. And I see 3. We got the submission. I'm going to actually start working on it right after this. I got to put all my my stuff together, spruce up my my calf page, and so I'm going to be submitting for September 20th.
26th.
26. God damn.
Yep.
I just wanted to happen sooner and sooner. So I wish I could do Jacksonville, but unfortunately that's the beginning of my vacation this year, so I can't go. I'll be already on vacation, and it's not heading in that. Well, we are heading south, but not that far south. So,
all right, man.
Cool. Thanks again, Matt, and I will see you in the funny pages. But stay tight. We'll do a little after show before that battery burns the hell out.
All right.
PowerPulpComics.com.
Thanks.